Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Over the next few minutes, we're going to take a look at how the Mend platform can integrate into your Sysdig environment to give us runtime reachability of containers scanned within Mend. This is critical because once we've scanned a container and we have vulnerabilities or any findings, it's very important to know if that container is even used in a production environment or development, for example. So any Mend customers which are using Sysdig, you'll be glad to hear that we can integrate the two together and get that information in a single platform. My name is Luke Brogan, and I'm a sales engineer and team lead here at Mend. So I always like to share the relevant documentation with these types of videos. And if we head over to docs.mend.io, we can see a dedicated article for connecting the Mend platform to your Sysdig environment. Again, to get the runtime information of a container scanned within Mend. So the first thing I want to do, sign on to the Mend platform. We then want to head over to integrations in the top right, scroll all the way down and head over to Sysdig. Now, before we fill out this information, just to show you the before and after, if we head to dashboard and scroll down to my applications, you can see I've scanned a Docker Hub image called RabbitMQ, which is obviously a messaging container service. If we take a look at containers, I have all of my findings, the severities and reachability information of those CVEs, but there's no information here telling me, is that container even used? Is it dormant? Should we focus on it? I'm not so sure. So typically I'd have to speak to like a DevOps engineer or someone else in my team to help check. With this integration, we can find out if that's running based on your Sysdig environment. So if we pop back to integration, scroll all the way down to runtime and Sysdig, the first thing we need to enter is a display name. So I'm just going to type in Sysdig prod. We then need your Sysdig URL as such. We then need the username, and all this information is captured in the documentation portal. So if you need any help creating these, it's all within there. So once these credentials are all placed in, we can then test the connection and obviously query the APIs to see if the runtime status is available. And we can see that's been successful. Go ahead and click next. It will then validate the clusters which are available in Sysdig. I have one in this example, so that looks good to me. We then have a scan interval, which we've left hit at default at 60 minutes. And then we have a summary of our configuration. So go ahead and click done. And if you want to verify your existing config, you can just head over to my integrations runtime, and then you'll see the integration is here. And if you want to, you can do a force scan rather than wait for 60 minutes, or you can remove the integration if it's no longer needed. If we head over to dashboard now and scroll down to the same RabbitMQ container, then go ahead and click on the container here. You can see an additional column's been added called package runtime status, and we can see it's in use. So this exact container, which I've scanned through CI/CD using the Mend CLI, has been verified as in use by Sysdig. And then we can treat this with much more attention because it is obviously a production container. It's not dormant. If it was dormant, then you would see it's not in use at all. And then finally, we also show reachability analysis on vulnerabilities in the container. So again, how can you prioritize what's important within that container? Scrolling down to the very bottom here, we then have the information regarding runtime reachability. So we confirm the image name, and then obviously the cluster, namespace, and container at the very bottom to help you track it down in the Sysdig UI. I hope you enjoyed this brief demonstration. And of course, if you need any support or you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your customer success manager. Thank you and goodbye.